Hi, everyone, and welcome to the special simulcast of the Neil Haley Show and the Love Is Podcast. I'm excited to welcome the host of the Love Is Podcast, Kim Sorrell. Kim, how are you? And I know you're excited about our guest today.
I'm doing great, Neil. Thank you. And yes, I've been so excited for this interview. Jason Burkey has been in a bunch of things, but he started in junior high, started acting and getting laughs way back then. And he is a self-proclaimed wide-eyed optimist. And he also says that he is Prince Charming by day and a court jester by night. So he obviously has a sense of humor. So this is going to be a lot of fun. And the thing I like best is he believes that every life is beautiful. Jason, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So I'm excited for a couple things. We're going to talk today about your new movie, Divine Influencer, which is so good and so amazing, coming out September 15th. But I have a question for you first. Your aunt works in the Dominican Republic, and you made the most beautiful video. And I just loved it. And if you want to talk about that for a minute.
Yeah, that was back when we were promoting October Baby, which was one of the first movies I've ever done. And that was kind of a surprise hit in the box office. And so we were kind of doing this little series of videos sharing a personal story about how we think every life is beautiful. So I spoke about that and about my aunt's work in the Dominican Republic as a missionary down there. And yeah, it was good. It was a good, meaningful project that I worked on, like this one.
Mm-hmm.
And that
and it's interesting because your part in this one is kind of, well, you're helping people, obviously, like your aunt in the Dominican Republic, like you did in the Dominican Republic. So it's kind of come around sort of full circle.
Yeah.
All right, Jason. So kind of like that whole thing about helping, when you get to help others, how does that make you feel compared to, when other people do something for you? How does it feel when you're giving more, your emotion, how you feel as a person?
Yeah, I know when other people do stuff for me, I feel I feel guilty about it. My wife's like, you need to relax about that. Like, people do stuff for other people because they want to. I'm like, are you sure? Okay, all right, yeah. So I think that's, for me, I think for most of us, it's when you give of yourself, of your time, your resources in some way to someone else, you're kind of tied to a deeper meaning in life, right? You're like, oh, wow, this is something that I need to be doing more of, because it makes you feel good, right? Like when you see the direct influence that you have on someone, an impact that you have on someone. And that's what this film is about. It's discovering your true purpose. It's being humble. It's learning how to serve others and pulling the focus off of ourselves and onto others.
Yeah, which is so important. And I think service is so important. And there's something really special about it. It's like you can't outgive, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you go to give, you're going to help, you're going to have an impact, you're going to do something. And no matter what, no matter how hard you try, you get so much more out of it than you can possibly put into it. It's just such an incredible feeling. And as a father, you're a father.
Yes.
And so wanting to get your kids involved too, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. That's something important that I want to teach them. And something we pray about is like, hey, God, give us opportunities where we can serve and where we can, because I feel like it's a daily battle of like being so self-centered and focusing on my own needs, making sure I'm good, which like isn't necessarily a bad thing, but you got to balance that out with looking at the needs around you as well, finding opportunities to help others. Yeah, it's important. So I definitely want to pass that on to my kids.
It's so important because if you can model that, other people will model that as well, and they'll do it. It's all about how we react around our kids, or if we're teaching, if we're providing any service, if the way we become leaders is through our actions. It's not by saying, it's by acting.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, well, and so the part that you play in this, Ryan, you're running a homeless shelter
Mhm.
and taking care of a lot of people and a lot of things and a staff, and run into some issues with money, which sometimes I think that people think that, well, there's so much need. Where do you help? There's so much you could do. What can you possibly do? But I always think if everybody did something that would help, right? And we all have homeless shelters in our home, in our cities, or for the most part, a lot of us do. And it it is an important part of it, right? The funding. And
Mhm.
so, but when Ryan goes through this time, it's kind of heartbreaking.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he, finds out that that the shelter, we're just not getting the donations that we need, and uh closing down the shelter for Ryan is not an option. He's like, there, where are these people gonna go? Like, he's devoted his life to this. Um, so that's where Olivia kind of comes in, and she uses her skills as like a social media influencer to throw this big fundraising gala. And so Ryan's really kind of relying on her, um, to help shake things up a bit and view things in a different way, and do an event that will really draw people in and save the shelter. So yeah, yeah, they kind of work together on that. But there's some drama as well. There's some issues that they run into, and things that Olivia accidentally does that kind of hurts the shelter. Um, so yeah.
What do you see, Jason? Let's ask you, what do you rank your social media? Like after this whole story about social media and virality to help that shelter, what do you, how much time do you put in your social media? Especially the actors really got to put more and more time in because it's become such a big thing, even for auditions now.
Yeah. Well, it's funny for me. I quit social media cold turkey 10 years ago, and I haven't been back on. And it started as like a week long, like, I'm just going to test this out because I just found myself being too consumed with it. And so I'm like, I wonder what it would be like if I just like hit pause on it. And a week went by and I loved it. And so I had to do a deep dive on how to permanently delete all my accounts, but I did. Um, and I just, now I can't imagine finding the time to get back on and do it. So I'm really kind of like, I feel like I'm in the stone age now. I'm like behind, and I don't even know what social media looks like nowadays. Um, but I do know the effect that it was having on me, and the kind of like persona I was wanting to present to the world, which felt fake to me. And so that was a big reason why I quit it. And I don't think it's all bad. I think there's some great things about it, promotion and all that. But for me, it's been I don't, kind of a weight lifted, and I just feel more present not being on it. I do miss out on, like, friends have babies and I don't know about it. I'm like, what happened to just a phone call? And so that's part of what I hope this movie does for people after watching it, is hopefully inspires them to connect with each other, find that human connection, like we used to before social media. That kind of deeper, meaningful connection of actually talking with each other and not being distracted by devices. And um, yeah, yeah. So it's
Yeah.
it's interesting that I did this film, and I'm like, I have been out of the game for a decade. But yeah.
Yeah, because it's an interesting game because
Yeah,
there's a new kind of celebrity, these
right.
social media influencers, and and then to fall from grace, from the social media grace like Olivia did, that's got to
Mhm,
be kind of a hard fall. But they
mhm.
do seem to come and go, or I don't know if they stay for years or how it's going to work. I guess time will tell.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
it's a different way to fame
yeah,
somehow. I don't even
yeah.
know.
Totally. Totally.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in the
Yeah.
film, that's what that's her goal, right? Is to get as many followers and likes as she can. Um, and so it takes her losing everything and really having to humble herself to find God's purpose for her life and kind of pull the focus off of herself and onto others.
You definitely have to put I guess, pat yourself on the back for the fact that you shut down social media, where most actors have to do it to get certain parts. Your talent must be there, right? It's like getting the
You
work,
know,
it's still working as an actor without
I,
social media.
I
That's why
hope
I was thinking
so.
you were going to say, oh, yeah, it is important. And then you told me you shut down. And it's definitely not the actor's playbook at all.
Look, again, I think there are some good things about it. There's like for actors, being able to promote what you're doing. For me now, I have to promote by like writing a letter and sending it by carrier pigeon to people. But for me, yeah, I mean, I don't know. If there are jobs that I've missed out on because I don't have social media, I don't know about it. Maybe it's happened. I just don't know about it. Um, for me, though, quality of life is better not being on it. So, um, hasn't negatively affected me so far. So,
That's
fingers
that's a good thing. So what
crossed.
are your goal as an actor? What do you want to accomplish in your career moving forward?
I have like dream projects that I want to work on. Ultimately, the short answer is I just want to keep telling stories that impact people. I mean, my like top movies that I've seen I can still feel the emotion that I felt when I watched that movie. Like that's the kind of stuff I want to be doing. I want people to see the stories that hopefully I'm a part of that inspire them and impact them in some way, give them hope, even if it's just a simple like pull them away from the stress of their life and their day and they get to escape into a story for a little bit. I mean, that's why I do it. I just really love the work. I love storytelling. And so for me, my goal is to just do it as long as possible.
Well, and you're good at it. So
Thank
that's nice. You're so good at it. I am glad to hear that carrier pigeons are still around. So thank you for
I
that.
think, I assume
Yeah,
someone
they must
knows
be. Yes,
how to
that's
use
right.
them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, so you are all about people. I mean, even something that you mentioned earlier about kind of putting the phone away and connecting, reconnecting.
Hmm.
And certainly the pandemic, we lost contact, but
Yeah.
the social media is doing that to us too.
Yeah.
Where it's easy to just sit and look at reels or whatever it is you're looking at all day.
Yeah.
But the human connection. And so even in your storytelling, it's about the human connection.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
100%. And that's what I love about the film industry too. I mean, this is like one of the most, if not the most collaborative art forms. I mean, you have so many people on a crew with different skills and you're all coming together to kind of create this thing and you have all this time. I mean, you're working at least 12 hours a day on a movie and you're working crazy hours and you really kind of build a family together while you make these stories. And there's a ton of human connection that happens on a set while you're kind of waiting around and you just get to know everyone. That's what I really love about it, is the collaboration of it. And it's always a bit uh, bittersweet when a project ends too, because you grow so close with these people and you really get to know them and kind of get deep with them. And then it's like, all right, well, bye. Hopefully I'll see you on another one. But if not, this was a really intense, amazing experience. So that's why I love doing what I do as well.
So Jason, again, it'll be available on PureFlix. What's the date for the release?
Yeah, September 15th. Yeah, streaming on PureFlix. Yeah. But the trailer's out now if people want to take a look at that. Yeah.
All right, fantastic. You have any other questions, Kim, for Jason?
I have a million questions for Jason. I could talk to you all day, Jason. You're one of a kind. So what is it that you want people, the big thing you want people to get out of the movie?
Yeah, I mean, again, if this movie will inspire people to set down their devices and be more present, I think that would be a great thing. Also, uh, just the movie's about kind of discovering your purpose, which I think we're gonna constantly discover our purpose and until we're no longer on this earth. I think it's just that's a constant thing that shifts and molds as you get older. Um, but I think being open to what that purpose might be, and I think setting your devices down and spending more time in stillness and in quiet and in meaningful conversation, I think that kind of reveals um, what you should be doing in your life, or at least inspires you in a certain direction. So yeah, hopefully the film does all those things and simply entertains and tells a good story. That's our goal.
And what's interesting, Jason, is you live what the movie's lesson was. That's good, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Yeah, putting it all down. I know.
Yeah,
I know.
that's so funny. That's so
Yeah.
funny. Neil asked you how many followers you have, and you're the opposite. And
0.
that's the movie. Neil, good point. That is so funny. Yeah.
It's completely, it's the polar up. It's exactly, he's the poster child for this movie, right?
Right.
And then
It's kind of yeah, kind of ironic that I was doing this film. I'm like, yeah,
they must have looked at that when you auditioned.
interesting. Yeah. Yeah, maybe helped me in that way.
All right, so we're not going to say where can we follow you. Just check you out in IMDb. That's the best
Find me.
place.
Yeah, I got a website and
Okay.
Yeah, IMDb and I don't know if you run into me on the street, say hello.
Oh, we're running into the streets for sure, Jason. We appreciate it, sir. Take care.
All right, thank you guys.
All right, that was a special simulcast of the Neil Haley Show and the Love Is podcast, guys. Take care.